Hi, this is Marcus K. Dowling. I'm a journalist and I'm a contributor with the Washington Former Bridge. And it's an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to be here today for our State of the Black Millennial 2020 conversation that we're having all October with BridgeTV. And today I'll be speaking to two people I've known for, probably a decade. Kevin Hallam's and Ian Callender are two vaunted veterans of nightlife, entertainment, and social justice issues in the DC metropolitan area. And they are working with the Sandlot project currently in Southeast and Northwest Washington, D.C. very soon. I'm glad to have them on today. Lafayette, if you could pull them in, I wanted to have a conversation with them in regards to the present and the future of Washington, D.C. How's it going, guys?
Good. How are you?
Wonderful. I can't complain. Just I'm living and breathing. So those are the goals right now, right?
Nice.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So we're talking about the Sandlot first. I want to get you guys your thoughts about reopening this project and expanding it in 2020 and 2021.
Well, it's kind of a weird way to intro it because we didn't even really know we would be here, due to COVID and really just, the executive order from the mayor from March of this year. We were looking forward to our second season at our Southwest location, 1800 Half Street. And I mean, we came out the gate guns blazing with, a partnership with the XFL, at Alley Field, DC Defenders. We were doing their tailgate.
DC United.
DC United's tailgates. So we were flying, and then we kind of just had to hit the pause button. So without really knowing where we would land, we just started kind of trying to identify locations and working with other developers, and then MRP, James Murphy specifically, said, hey, look, we're building this interim park at our new project. Right across the other side of the Frederick Douglass Memorial Bridge, maybe this might be a suitable solution. I immediately just went into go mode and did everything in our capacity to try to make the, economics work, and more specifically, just the partnership with the developer. And here we are now, 71 Potomac Avenue Southeast.
Outstanding. So for both of you guys, the thing that I think that most people aren't aware of necessarily when they look at, your careers, is that you guys elevate the level of importance and type of work that you do consistently, from, like working in events to birthing events to working with brands and then elevating the brands that you're working with to now you're working with a whole different style of project that's an all-encompassing thing. So what motivates you guys as far as your thoughts about how you motivate yourself to achieve at a different level every time?
I think that the things that we've done in the past, I think that where we are now is just really evolution. Like everything that you just named is kind of what Sandlot encompasses. It's all of those things kind of just combined into one. And I think that we continue just to motivate each other. A lot of people don't know that Ian and I, we've been friends for 30 years. So before nightlife and
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So like before all of this stuff, got started, like we met in church and we started playing basketball with each other. So like playing for the same position. So it was just a constant, thing since we've been young. It's always, like looking out for each other and always pushing each other to the next level. So yeah. I think that's the foundation of our relationship. And that's kind of, what pushes, I know for me, like that's what pushes me every day.
Right. And so Ian, as far as for you?
Yeah. And like really, for me, it's, I came into this industry, sideways, like, everybody, was going right. And I was, I went left. I'm the sneakerhead, right? I'm the guy that back then, people used to laugh at me, because of, my style or me standing in line hours and hours at a day or just overnight for some sneakers and, collecting rare items, but then utilizing that platform, which was my hobby, and turning that into a business. and then that business, paying off with different corporate partners and folks that saw the vision then. And especially now with sneakers, you kind of see how that industry has, blossomed and is booming right now. But, I've took that kind of access that I had back then and just converted it into, creating these physical spaces that can live, beyond my lifespan or beyond a trend that, the sneaker culture once was. So I do look at it as trying to, elevate from the previous, even if it does, impact a specific neighborhood. A lot of our projects, they're never really in the same neighborhood. They're always in a different neighborhood that needs this type of energy and engagement. And that's really our focus.
Right. So the value then to millennial culture and the culture that we all work within, and looking at that within DC, and kind of like now you've moved from being a person who's like a consumer to a provider. So what are things that you're thinking about when you think about things that especially Black millennials in DC moving out of COVID are going to need, and how do you plan on providing those things? Do you put any thought to that?
Yeah, I think it's a sense of comfort. Familiarity is what we're used to. And due to COVID, we've been experiencing unfamiliar times. So what we try to do is to bring a sense of familiarity to the equation and a sense of hope. I mean, we all need that type of I guess guidance, and not just here at Sandlot, but in all of our other projects previous with Diet and some of the other stuff that I've done in the past as well. It's always had a sense of community. So we know that that's the one solution that is rock solid and doesn't really require much added or additives. It's
right.
True, genuine, authentic people, specifically those that are from DC. Everyone's experiencing the gentrification conversation. So what we try to do is to kind of hone in on that and say, well, here's a solution. You know what I mean? Here's a potential experience that you can have that'll make you feel like home.
Right. So Scooty, you're my favorite party host. If I had a party that was happening, it'd be you and it'd be Walter from Adobo together hosting a party. So thoughts then to like welcoming people into space, and especially people who are like, in DC moving forward, like thoughts about that, like, cause you haven't hosted a party probably in almost a year. So thoughts about that and being able to like,
according to you,
and
had a couple of porch parties, 2 and 3 since COVID started.
Yeah.
I really don't put too much thought into like the whole like hosting thing. You know what I mean? Like I think that it's a title that most people give me, but like for me, like it's just natural. Like I'm just a people person. I love good energy. I believe heavily in balance. So if I wake up every day with a positive attitude and I can continue to like to bring that type of energy, like into the world, like then my job is done. And really like that's what it is. It's not even really like hosting, it's not greeting, it's not nothing. It's just, like I just want to give off just good energy. Mm-hmm. And that's what any and every project that I do, or even when, I'm not working, just me walking down the street every day. Like I don't think that, that you could ever find a time where I'm not like happy or excited about something, even if my life is going to shit, like I can still find, like the silver line. I can still find, that one thing that's going well. And I use that energy, like to continue to drive me every day. So, if you're a person that shows up to anywhere that I'm at, whether it's Sandlot or wherever, like that's what you should expect.
Right. So I also wanted to ask you guys about the nature of being a Black creative in DC. DC, as you know, is it's an economic hotbed, which makes it wonderful for business, but it makes it hard for living. So especially as a creative, somebody who wants to make money from the thing that they do creatively outside of working in a traditional work environment, and we all do that. So I wanted your thoughts about what it requires to do that, because I think a lot of people who are younger than we are look at us like, okay, I want to get to that point. So what does that require, do you feel?
Just being genuine to yourself. I mean, it is very taxing. It's extremely taxing to be a Black creative in Washington, D.C. proper, especially if you're a native. You know, just jumping back, like, you know, this is a transient city. You know, a lot of transplants, people that aren't from here, and they, you know, come into our city and basically just take advantage of our resources or just things that are available and accessible to us natives. But, you know, one of the things that I feel is of value, you know, to at least when I speak to a lot of, you know, like kids and just youth in general, or just other young entrepreneurs, is to be, you know, passionate about what you do. Don't do it for the money. Like, none of the stuff that I've done was ever for the money. Even Sandlot, like, you know, we didn't make no money on Sandlot. We balanced the books. The whole point was to employ people and to pay our bills and not owe nobody no money. You know, like, we have other gigs, we have other jobs, and we have other things that we're great at, but we're not in it to be millionaires. You know, like, we're millionaires just by providing these experiences for people to take, you know, back home, and you know, share with their friends. You know, to me, that's the you know, the gem that I'll try to, you know, share with other, you know, Black millennials.
Right. So as far as your thoughts about the future, it's the big question everybody's worried about, wondering about. Everybody has a perspective, of opinion, thoughts about A, the importance of voting, and B, the importance of being mentally strong either way and being able to forge forward.
Voting is the most important thing right now, just period. Like, I don't even think that you have to get any deeper than that. I'm just going to be a person to say, listen, I'm not into the back and forth of, you know what I'm saying, like who you should be voting for and this, that, and the third. Like, just go out and vote. Like, let your ballot speak for itself. Like, not going to get, like I said, not going to get into the back and forth. Just make sure that you get out and vote. It's the most important thing right now, especially the world that we're living in right now, currently today. Like, if 2020 it was not enough of an example as to why we need to get out and let our voices be heard, like, I don't know what else. Yeah. Like, period.
Facts.
Right. And thoughts from you, Ian, about the same thing?
Yeah, I mean,
mentally being able to, like, focus on whatever happens, life continues.
Yeah, so yeah. No, I mean, that's you know, I remember, I want to say it was 2004 election. I was working for the Department of Defense doing information assurance, and a Black owner of a consulting company, Charles Davis, had a concept called Ride to Vote, and he literally just hired a bunch of limos to go into lower, you know, income areas and said, look, I'll take you from point A to the polls and back. And then I feel like every season there's a new initiative. You know, Diddy had his Vote or Die, and then just other campaigns and things that kind of boiled over. So when I think about the importance of voting and what that means, and mind you, that was pre-social media, right? So There was no Twitter, there was no Instagram. And to me, that showed how important it was then. And now what I've seen with voting is it's very easy to be swayed into, you know, just seeing something digitally, and now it's considered propaganda because you might have thought one way and now it shifts the other way. So when I think about the importance of voting and really understanding, like Scooty said, the whole intent of it, it's really just, you know, when you get to that poll, it's just you don't have your phone. You can't look and research and try to, you know, get some you know, some cheat codes, but your ballot does speak for itself. And just by, you know, achieving that, whether it's a mail-in or voting early, you know, that's the main thing. And like you said, you know, after, you know, on November 4th, we're all going to wake up and we're all going to feel away, but, you know, life still goes on. And that's the, you know, the emotional connection that we have to be prepared for, because, you know, yes, it can go one way or it'll just go the other way, and you still got to, you know, get up and be on your grind.
Right. So thanks for the conversation. I wanted to get your guys' social media handles and also how people can support what you guys are up to.
So I'm at Uncle UNKLE Scooty SCOOTY on everything, Twitter, Instagram, and I just got on. I got Facebook. I don't really. Yeah. I go on Facebook to check people's birthdays every day, and I just got on something else. Hold on, what's the
Clubhouse?
Yeah, I just got on Clubhouse. I got on Clubhouse yesterday.
Tight. I need to get on Clubhouse. That's what's up. So, what about you, Ian?
I'm Ian Ican. That's IANEYECAN. And that's also on everything. You know, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Clubhouse. I'm on Clubhouse too, y'all.
There it is.
I don't really know how to work that shit, but I'm on here.
Yeah, I'm figuring it out too.
Cool. So what about the Sandlot as far as getting in touch with the Sandlot?
Yeah, Sandlot, Sandlot Southeast spelled out, at Sandlot Southeast spelled out. We're, you know, online, sandlotsoutheast.com, and, you know, Yelp, Google, you know, Facebook. We're not on Twitter. We just use the hashtag. Again, just doing things differently. Not everything needs a handle. But it, you know, if you have a hashtag, there's always an easy, you know, that's an easily accessible way to see some content from our space. And I know you dropped a gem earlier in the interview, but, you know, Sandlot Northwest is on the way, so you'll be hearing about that shortly.
Yeah, no, I love what you guys are doing. Like, you know, I've known you guys for a million years. And to see that we're all in a place where we could do this in the midst of a pandemic and still be successful is incredible. Yeah. So it's a privilege to be able to talk to you guys. And once we're able to get out and about, I will see you guys in the streets.
Sounds good.
Sounds good.
We'll see you guys soon.
Right. Much appreciated.
All right, thanks, Mike.
Thank you.
Have a good one. All right, well, that was Uncle Scooty and Ian Ican. Two guys I've known for a long time. They're doing amazing things in the nation's capital these days. So definitely check them out at Sandlot. And also check out Washington Former Bridge, WeBridgeDC.com. I've got a story in there this month, and you know, we got great content. So thanks a lot, and talk to you soon.
This concert is dedicated to all the Black and Indigenous brothers and sisters that have been fighting for over 500 years to against the powers of death and destruction that are now once again trying to take over our existence. This next song is called Regálame Ilusiones. Esta siguiente canción se llama Regálame Ilusiones. Next song is called Chimba Chica. It's a cueca rhythm from, this particular one is from Argentina.